Hello, good day. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm very super excited to have all of you get to watch this video over and over again. If you are joining us for the first time, button, and so that you get notified every time we create a video. All right, you might see that we do not do more editing on our videos. It's just simply because I really just take the time to teach and to just share knowledge in such a way that, you get the point, right? So I don't get to, cut everything. So everything is just raw and I just get to post it that way. All right, so let's get into the video. So as you have seen from the title, just very simple. I'm going to be teaching you guys how to trade gold. And so for those of you who probably know something about gold or probably have been trading gold, you know that gold is a very high volatile pair, right? And many people tend to lose money from gold, not just because they don't have a strategy, but just that gold, unlike other currency pair, has its own uniqueness. And you have to understand that uniqueness and know how to be able to marvel your way around it to be able to make money from that, right? So for those of you who are new to trading, gold is simply XAUUSD, and it's a pair, right? It's a gold pair paired with the United States dollars, and it's a very high volatile pair. So I'll be teaching you guys 3 important steps that has not just helped me, but has been able to help some people who I've had the privilege to mentor, and they've been doing amazing result. Number one thing you have to recognize is that gold has its very own uniqueness, right? So, and that uniqueness is in terms of its volatility. Is that gold, unlike any other currency pair, 10 pip stop loss in other currency can be, depending on your lot size, can be, minimal, right? But in gold, if you enter the same trade, the same lot size on gold, and at the same time on another currency pair, and you are in profit, you'll be making way more profit than the other currency. And if you are losing too, you'll be losing way more money than the other currency, right? So now I want to teach you. So you have to understand that it's very volatile. So that leads to step 2. Hence that volatility, then it requires high attention to your risk management in terms of your lot size. So for example, if you're using 0.05 in currency pair to trade, when it gets to gold, at least use 2 times lower the normal lot size you use on normal currency pair. That way, even though you are losing, so it just helps you balance your risk and your psychology, because sometimes most people just make the mistake of, using the same lot size they use on other currency pair to want to trade gold. It barely even gets to work, right? So you have to be very conscious of the lot size you use. So I'd advise whatever currency pair you use on your normal currency pair, reduce it by ×2. So if you're using one lot size, use 0.05, right? If you're using 0.05, then use if you're using 0.5, sorry, if you're using one lot size, reduce it to 0.05. If you've been using 0.05, reduce it to 0.05, right? So what that does is it helps your psychology, right? So that you don't get used to losing your money because you are thinking that, oh, it's same lot size I've been using. No, it's not the same. So, and the third thing you have to understand is the strategy, which I'll be showing you guys here, right? So I'll be showing you a strategy that works. So several of you have your strategy, but whatever strategy you're using, the strategy I use is price action, right? And so in gold, you can have the right strategy, but if you get your entry wrongly, then there's higher chances of you getting to lose money because of wrong entries. So it might go to your direction, but sometimes gold has this habit of, before it goes to direction, it can just have a drawdown, and that drawdown can be so much that it takes you out and continue going your direction. So it's very important. I've noticed that your entry, exact point, your entry is more important, even as your strategy too is important. So Please know that, because some of you have very amazing strategies and you say, oh, but look at this, it takes me out and it keeps going to my direction. It used to happen to me all the time at that time until I noticed that I can't keep losing this money. I get the direction wrong, but I enter and, it gets to Jordan, takes me out and continue goes to my direction. It can be very annoying. So I literally have to sit down and say, okay, I need to adapt my strategy to be able to find an entry at least that, at least the drawdown is going to be very low. All right, so let's get into the strategy. So I don't claim to know much, but at least the little we know have been helping us to make money consistently from the market. So I advise you pay very close attention. All right, so if you look at this chart now, this is XAUUSD chart, and I'll be showing you simply what I do from top to bottom analysis, how I make my trading decisions. All right, first thing I go to the weekly time frame. And the reason why I go to the weekly time frame is, let me give you a story. Can you imagine yourself trying to stop a moving trend? A speed trend is coming coming this way, and it's coming with speed, and you just stand here hoping that it's going to see you and stop. What happens? It crushes you, right? Because your force is too little to be able to stop the force that a speed trend usually would come with, right? So, but imagine, right, that is how it is. You are just an individual and you trade, even though you trade $1 million, still small compared to the transaction volume that happens on XAUUSD. So understanding the overall trend is very important, because you just want to keep following the trend, right? If you keep following the trend, you're definitely going to make money, because market would always stick to trend, especially on the higher time frame. So the thing you want to do is just follow the trend, and it's like an eagle trying to soar. And what does he do? He just soars towards the direction of the wind. And as the wind just keeps going, it just keeps prompting him, and he keeps flying higher, 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 higher. All right, so let's look at it. So this is XAUUSD. And so what can you see here? Clearly, we're on a downtrend here on the weekly time frame. And I would confirm that, you see, market has been creating lower highs and lower highs and lower low. All right, so having determined that, the next thing I want to do is, I'm a day trader. What that means is I'm trying to make profit for the day. So I've established that, okay, that this is a downtrend. So everything I want to do is I'm going to focus on I'm just going to be focusing more on the what? On the sell. So I'm a trend line trader. So first thing, I draw my trend line on the 1 hour time frame, because that helps me a lot. Many of you don't know, but it helps me a lot. Right, so I go to the 15 minutes. All right, so I've done my time, my what do you call it? My trend line already. And so you could see that at this point, what happened? It touched it, it came down, at least 3 touch. The second time, it tested it, it came down. The third time, it tested it, it retraced. Then it's, it finally broke it. And what happened? You see, it's been going up, right? So now, so what does that tell us is that for today, if I was on this trade, because of on my 1 hour time frame, the chart has already tested it 3 times, then went up, then came down, right? So if I was to enter this trade, I'm going to exactly know that I want to sell. We actually established sell, but sometimes many of you are so focused, because you're a day trader, so focused on your bias, right? Especially my strategy 3 times. So if this thing was still below here, I would have sold for this point and all of it. But now it has broken my trend line, then I have to reconsider my bias, right? So immediately you see it touched here, it touched here, couldn't break it. So there's a resistance here. So if I want to take this trade again, I'll wait for a W pattern. And I'm going to be focusing on the long, right? So I'm going to get my entry on the buy on this zone. I target 1 to 2, right? 1 to 2 weeks to watch. Here, my stop loss will be small, because look at it. So once it tests here, I'm going to go into the buy, and my stop loss will be here. So now let me show you what I'm telling you. So now, most of my trades, I enter it immediately from the trend line. So can you see that immediately it got to the trend line? What did you see? It hardly breaks above it and have long stop loss. But imagine you entered here. Imagine you enter somewhere else that is not it, right? Imagine you buy from the wrong place. See, if you enter exactly on those zones, your stop loss will be small. Can you see here? It hardly breaks it. So your stop loss literally will be low. So imagine you now come and start selling here. What did you see? And your stop loss that it would have taken you out before it started coming down again. Right? See it here. Small, the stop loss here too. You know, if you had entered here, even though it just went down a bit, but you would have seen that it gave you sign of the range. And we look at here. So here, immediately it comes back here again. I'll be going for it buy. So it's going to give us like a W pattern, like something like this. Keep going. So my stop loss will be small. So now whatever strategy you are using, those key zones, right? So that's why if you are using the pro feature, it gives you a lot of advantage in the sense that it allows you to be able to do what? Put a notification at that point or a pending order at that point and put your stop loss. In short, sometimes the problem is sometimes you can wake up or it can happen New York, it can happen London, it can happen Asia. So what I do most times is those key zones where those trend line is, I mark it up, I put a pending orders based on the trend on those zones, right? And immediately it just gets there, it triggers. So because of what I've showed you, you see that your stop loss will be very small, right? Very small. So chances you won't have that cases of being in a trade and it takes you out. So whatever strategy you're using, but for this trend line, it's been working over time, right? Those trend lines are very key zones. Usually, if I enter from those points, my stop loss are very usually small, right? So if just a recap of everything I've taught you, that gold is a very volatile pair. Try to use twice, like if reduce your lot size by 2 times, right? By 2, like for example, you're using one lot size, reduce it to 0.5 lot size. If you're using one lot size on that pair, reduce 0.05. So reduce it at least double minus 2 of what you've been using, right? Half of the lot size you use on normal pair. Use it to manage your risk. Then secondly, you understand that the gold is very unique, right? So you have your entries as very important as your entries as important as your strategy. So you can still predict the direction wrong and you can still hit stop loss. Then thirdly is for you to be able to understand that this is a strategy you could use, trend line, and what helps you is so that you don't miss those zones, you can start using pending order. So in a week now, I might only take 3 trades. Maybe only 3 trades might trigger for the week, right? Sometimes in a week, I'm lucky 4, but chances if you do this repeatedly over time, there are 4 weeks in a month, right? So if you take 4 or 3 trades in a week like that for the whole month, you will still notice that this strategy has an edge. I've shown you over time, you notice that every time it touches the trend line, the stop loss is very small. So it looks like you're almost having 0 drawdown. So I hope that you got value from this video. If you got value from this video, please do well to subscribe, do well to share your thoughts, share your comments to me, and do well. You can be part of my community. It's free on Telegram. I share some private mentorship just to help you grow. You can do well to join, and so that you could expand your trading career and get value. So do have a nice day. Thank you so much for staying till this time.